Hello, my name's Artemis, and obviously I would probably be the first person to stand up and admit that this fandom is not perfect. There are a lot of things with it that are slightly shit and that we do not like. And I think it's important to go through these things, because only by knowing these issues and openly talking about them can we actually take a step forward towards addressing them and maybe fixing them. But also, it's fun to bitch and moan, and I thought, fuck it, let's open up the floodgates and see what people want to bitch and moan about. So yes, we have some anonymously submitted unpopular opinions about the furry fandom, and we're going to go through and rate them and see how understandable they may be, or how spicy and hot they might also be, and maybe some of the ones that we aren't going to agree with. Let's find out, shall we? Up first, the age-old problem of people wanting to get into positions of power to abuse those positions of power. And yes, I do believe this is a thing that we see in the fandom. It's not that spicy. I think that it's fairly medium spice. It's not that hot. It's like lemon and herb at best. Because honestly, we've seen this before, right? I mean, everybody likes to show off that they're on the convention staff or they run a local fur meet. And I mean, hell, didn't we just have a beach fight about a turf war and people running fucking fur cons? Like, yeah, people like to run this shit just so they can say, I run this shit and I have authority. And yeah, people are fucking fallible as fuck, aren't they? And if they have personal issues, they're gonna love to use their newfound power to exploit those people and say, you know what, fuck off, this is my party, you're not invited. So yeah, I get that one. Okay, I kind of like this one. I like this one a lot, actually. Like some sort of furry artist union guild thing where everybody sort of subscribes to the same set of rules and you have a uniform body. It's actually a really smart idea. Keeps everybody up to the same sort of standards, and it sets rules that people can trust. You know, it helps the consumers, but also it gives protection and a unified body for the artists themselves. So when they do want to change things, or they do have mass PR issues to deal with, they've got a singular body to do it. That is a really smart idea. I like that a lot. I do feel we're a little bit too disorganized to actually get on board with that sort of thing, but honestly, a fucking furry creator guild, real fucking smart as shit. And I like this, especially in the age of unionization. Can we get on that, maybe, yeah? Okay, I think I can kind of see what this person is getting at. I'm just not quite entirely sure I agree with every single thing that's listed there. So we're going to increase the spiceometer for that one. Because, the fandom does have a problem with there being a type, and it mostly focuses its attention on people who adhere to that type, and it really doesn't highlight other people as much as it should who don't adhere to that type, and it is oddly specific. But some of these ones that are highlighted here, I just don't feel like they quite fit. I mean, the fandom's pretty fucking gay. I think we can all just... we're all in agreement with that, right? The fandom's pretty gay. So I'm not sure some of these really fit the bill, but I kind of get the message, at least in part. So partial agreement on some of it, because it is a problem. I mean, you know, you're always going to have biases like this that people like, and that there is always going to be these patterns. But I don't know if this is the specific pattern. I don't think so. Okay, this is a very interesting point because it's something that I've seen and experienced as well, because yeah, you're right, we do glorify drinking and drug use in some cases a little bit too much in the fandom, and I do see a lot of people doing it to try and help themselves have a good time, and I'm like, look, it's your body, it's your choice. I personally believe that no drugs should be illegal. Fuck it, let everybody make their own decisions. Seriously, why the fuck not? But that's just me, and I'm not going to enforce that onto everybody, because a lot of you have probably heard that and gone, what the fuck? And that's fair enough. But no, there is a problem with that. We do glorify it a little bit, and it does tend to lead people who have this fantastical view of the fandom, and that, oh, I want to go in and be a furry and do this and that and do everything else. Well, if they're looking to emulate and copy the people that they idolize, and those people are very much like, I was on Molly at the rave, yeah, these idealistic people are probably not going to be at the point in their life where they're ready to safely experiment with that sort of thing and be okay with it, because it's kind of everywhere and it's a problem. So I can fully get on board with that. And I mean, the goddamn drinking, fuck me. Every time it confuzzled and they said, oh, this is how quickly we drunk the bar dry. And I'm like, that's not healthy. That's a lot of alcohol. Seriously, why do we really need chemicals to have a good time? The whole point of being here is a good time. So yeah, I can understand this one. Okay, this is a really odd hill to die on, but let's have a look. I mean, I'm not entirely sure I know who Renamon is, but maybe you're right. Maybe they have just been overrated. I mean, looking at some of these, I could kind of see how, yeah, okay, I get it. You know, kind of sexy, generic, anthro character. I can see why you wouldn't be so fussed on. Okay, there might be some exclusions. There might be some points where, no, it's justified. I mean, I'm not biased or anything, but, honestly, love this. A lot of these aren't even fucking spicy. I'm not going to call this one spicy neither. I like this one. Yeah, people do take that shit far too fucking personally. At the end of the day, you are responsible for curating your experience of social media and your presence online. So, why would you want to keep something that's harmful just for the sake of someone else? Fuck them hoes. If they're causing you grief or you just don't want to interact with it, block, mute, whatever you want to do. And people do take that shit super personally. Christ, I've been on that end before where someone was just removed from a position and being an admin in a group and it blew everything up. And I'm like, why is it a big deal? Why is your ability to block people a bit... Oh, right, no, yeah, you probably just wanted to wield power in an ungood way, but whatever. But people do take this shit personally, and you don't need to go and ask for an explanation. You don't need to cry and bitch and moan. You don't need to send messages for other people like, why did you do this? They did it because they wanted to. Shut the fuck up. You don't have an innate born right that you can just have instant access to anybody and everybody for any fucking reason. Shut the fuck up, you little children. Oh, now we're ramping up the spice factor, aren't we? Being very aggressive towards people who have made mistakes. Now, this is an interesting one because at first, I sort of agree. If people have made genuine mistakes that have made low-level damage, that sort of thing, then yeah, sometimes people do jump on that bandwagon and they get right into the fight before doing any real research. And that's a big problem because people who want to tear other people down will use that as a weapon. They know that all they got to do is throw the accusation and people will instantly get out the pitchforks and start witch hunting, without even really realising that, oh, maybe what they've said is bullshit. So I'm very careful with the points that I weigh in on in the fandom because I know full well that there are two sides to every story, and most of the time the truth lies somewhere in between those two sides. So I do kind of get the point with this. The problem with this, though, is that this can very easily be turned into, people need to calm down about zoophiles. No, that is not the take, sis. So this kind of mantra often gets confused because, yeah, when people make genuine mistakes, they often are basically punished forever for those mistakes. It is a problem. It is sad. We need to work on that. The problem is what we define as mistakes, because, you know, a genuine mistake where somebody was not meaning to do a thing that did damage, but they did and they want to do better, that we can help with. Somebody who is just flat out into stuff that is immoral and wrong and that we do not accept in this fandom and also is not apologetic about it, mostly just pissed that they got caught, no, won't be accepting that one. So I don't know, medium spice, I guess, kind of, because, you know, the general core message that I think this person's trying to get through is pretty good. Okay, this one's kind of interesting because it's a little bit odd because everybody's got a take on this and I don't think anybody is like, yeah, whatever, because it's just an odd one. Like, I always introduce myself as Artemis, and when people use my real name, I'm like, what the fuck do you want, sir? Am I being summoned for jury duty? What? So I can kind of understand that. It's a little bit weird when you're one way of the coin and they're using the other side of it because, yeah, it's just a little odd, but I don't think that's too spicy. I think that's more like a personal preference thing, but yeah, it can be a little jarring, especially some people's names. It also goes a little bit weird if that person just has, like, not judging here, but if they just have a weird fucking name to begin with, and you're like, I don't know which one's your fucking persona name and which one's not, okay? Are you still shitting with me? I don't understand. Oh yes, the age-old debate on poodling. Obviously, I think I'm not. This is not as spicy. Like, this is pretty agreeable, I think. I think we can all get on board with this because, honestly, the rhetoric around this whole poodling bullshit where, oh, you can't do it, is just, it's grounded in absolute nothing that makes sense anyway. It's the same sort of argument that you see regurgitated all the time. You see it every couple of months or years where there's some random poodling incident. Someone likes to weigh in with their bullshit as if we're all paid Disney actors that have a contract or some stupid shit like that. We ain't and we don't. So honestly, yeah, we do have a problem with people wanting to get very fucking authoritative with bodies, and it does come down to fat shaming too. I mean, there was that fucking tweet a while back of someone who was poodling who happened to be, you know, not fucking under 100 pounds. And everyone was just judging the fuck out of him. I'm like, oh, hello, Mr., you know, body positivity and not shaming people for who they are and how they look. Are we not doing that today? Are we just being dicks? I don't understand. If it doesn't fit your personal aesthetic, I can understand that. But if you want to go outward with it and say, well, I don't like this thing, so I shouldn't be seeing it, that's a you problem, cunt. So fix it yourself. So yeah, this one I agree with. Oh, I like this one because it's spicy, but I think it's still correct. Yeah, there are a hell of a lot of fucking creators, artists, makers, all sorts that start a business without knowing how to run a business and then get pissed off when they're expected to operate like a business. Unfortunately, yeah, I see it all the time, and I don't weigh in on it because I'm not going to start a fucking fight and get my eye scratched out, but there are plenty of people that are good at making fursuits that think that translates into good fucking business practices, and it sure as shit fucking doesn't. It's not an automatic thing. A lot of them just do not understand how to run things. Like, how can I be expected to offer a refund? Bitch! If you take the money and you're not doing the work, you have to be able to offer that. I don't give a fuck about your cash flow situation. I really don't. You are operating as a business. If you cannot provide the goods or services to which you have been paid, you give the money back. Oh, your car's broken? Doesn't matter, you're a business. Oh, well, you need to pay rent? Doesn't matter, you're a business. I'm sorry if it's heartless, but this is what you wanted to get into. This is the game that you chose to play. This is how it works. Is it shitty? Yeah, sometimes it is. Do some people just make mistakes? Yeah. But do we also have fursuit makers out there with a reputation of having a 40 suit list? Yes, we do. Do we have people that quite clearly just bounce from commission to commission to commission to get money to pay their bills without actually working on the shit they're supposed to? Yes, we do. We have plenty of people out there who do exploit the long waiting times that we are used to in the fandom to basically get away with not working to the amount of money they're bringing in. It's a problem. Yeah, maybe they shouldn't be running a fucking business. I'm sorry if it's too spicy, but I fucking agree. I do. Yep, instantly like this one. Not spicy at all. 100% correct. I mean, yeah, there was a time and a place. You don't need to be wearing ears everywhere. You don't need stickers everywhere. Now, I'm very vocal with it. I'm very comfortable with it, but I'm also quite confident and outgoing with that stuff to the point where I don't care. But I've known people who have worn like tails to college, for fuck's sake, and I'm like, oh great, so you want to get beaten up then, okay? Is that your kink? Like, yeah, there was a time and a place for it. There are points where you don't need to be all the goddamn fucking time, and I fully fucking agree with that. And it ultimately comes down to, you know, you want to feel free, but if you don't have the confidence to back it up, then you're gonna learn some life lessons, and not very nicely. So I like this one. Okay, I really like this one because it's the fucking truth. It really is. By and large, the drama and all of the toxic shit is either going to be personal disputes between a few people, or it's something big like they use slurs, or they're part of a fucking white supremacist group or something like that, or they're a zoophile. So it's either like, oh, it's really big, but it's just one person, or, oh, you're just being a dick. Okay, it really is kind of overblown, and the interesting thing is a lot of it is overblown as well. I mean, obviously, if someone's a zoophile, a Nazi, any of that shit, can't really overblow that too much, but most of the drama we see is just like, well, they weren't talking to me very nice, and they excluded me from this, and then I wasn't invited, and wah. Okay, that's great, that's wonderful, I'm sorry that happened to you. That's what we call a personal problem, so why are you putting it on blast on Twitter? Why is that something that everybody needs to know about? Why the fuck are you putting up aware? Like, someone was not compatible with you, and then the inevitable happened. Why is that something the whole fandom needs to get involved with? So this, yeah, 100% fucking correct, 100% agree with. People need to calm their shit and stop thinking that their follower count is a sword they can use to attack the people that they feel have slighted them. I really hope the fandom gets over that problem. This one made me laugh. This one did. Okay, because this is, I don't know whether I would class this as spicy or what, but it's an interesting point. That pointing stuff like this out is toxic and we should take it down. So you think it's okay for these issues to exist, but you don't think it's okay for us to talk about them and potentially find resolutions to them, okay? You don't potentially see the benefit in looking at the fandom objectively and saying, these things are things we need to work on, these things are wrong, and we need to do something about them. Because, you know, talking about this stuff is how people realize, oh, it's not just me. It's not just them. Oh, I'm not alone in thinking this. Oh, we can all maybe come together because it's general opinion that we've just not shared openly. So this one, I'm kind of just like, shut the fuck up. In all honesty, shut up. No, we don't all have to pretend that it's sunshine and rainbows and happy smiles all the time. It fucking ain't. The only way that this fandom survives is by us having a realistic view of it, and if we see shit, calling it out and saying, that's shit, we need to do something about it. So, no, that ain't it, sis. That's not the take. That's a whole sentence, isn't it? I think that's incredibly spicy because that's bullshit, sorry. Not safe for work feral art. Now, I get that there is obviously different descriptions of feral. Is it just a quadrupedic, sentient anthropomorphized character, or is it a literal fucking dog? I'm sorry though, the first thing I saw when I saw this was, you know, this is quite similar to saying, well, just because it's a fictional child doesn't mean it's paedophilia. It's still a fucking thing. It's still a problem. We can't accept that. So, no, I'm sorry. No, I don't agree with this one. I get that you all have your interests and whatnot, but you're still wanting to fuck a dog, and that's a problem that I'm just never going to accept. I'm sorry. No. Get out. Goodbye. No leeway. No wiggle room. At all. It's just how it is. I mean, if you have a fully sentient, consenting being that just so happens to be quadriplegic, that's not the word, quadrupedal, then that's a different ball game, isn't it? You know, that's just a different ball game. But when you see feral and whatnot, feral instantly, I mean, look at the definition of the word feral, for fuck's sake. That doesn't exactly seem like something that can give consent, now does it? And that's a big problem. So, no. Okay, a little bit spicy on this one. I feel like it's just a tiny bit overblown, but I do see the point. It's like an interesting sociological, psychological experiment of having this sort of elitist social media site that you need an invite code to get on board with that's very much showing who the popular furries are now, isn't it? Because you can only give invites if you've had one, and yeah, I swear this is like a thought process. So I can understand this. It really is sort of excluding a lot of people that just aren't a big part of the popular fur culture that still kind of exists, not as much as it used to, or just don't hang out with the same crowds or provide the same sort of stuff that others want. And we are losing quite a lot of the fandom. Now, I would like to say that this might get remedied once/if Blue Sky opens up fully and you don't need these codes and you can just join it, but no, yeah, I can kind of see where you're getting from there, because, you know, X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, is a hell site, and it's just dying bit by bit every day under the wrath of Musk. So having somewhere to escape from that not everybody can go on, it's kind of like sitting on a life raft and saying, you can come up because I know you, but you can fucking drown. So yeah, I kind of get it. Having said all of that, maybe check out my Blue Sky, because I've just set that up. So hypocrite. Okay, this one made me laugh, because it's a take, I'll give you that. Very spicy, obviously, and I'm actually not going to agree or disagree. This is quite clearly just personal preference, and I'm not going to judge someone for having a personal preference. I found it funny that you related them to Crocs. That's actually fucking hilarious. But, I mean, that's you. That's personal preference, that's down to you. I'm not going to have a go at someone because they aesthetically don't like something. There's plenty of things I don't like, you know, like sex. So yeah, fair enough. That's you. I can get why it would be an unpopular opinion. I mean, we're quite open with this stuff now, but yeah, I'm not going to agree or disagree. I mean, pop hoods are not something that I particularly massively into, but on a base level, I do appreciate the craftsmanship, because I'm like, oh, that's quite well made. That's quite cool. But yeah, I can sort of get on board with this at the same time that I can be like, oh, it's a bit discriminating, but hey, personal preference is personal preference, and we're not going to police that. But thank you very much for watching, and obviously thank you for donating some of your anonymous, spicy, unpopular opinions. Not all of them as spicy as others, some of them flat out fucking wrong, but that's always the fun of the fucking fair, isn't it? Hope you enjoyed this video. It was fun to analyse and go through this shit and have a little bit of a rant. That's always good for the soul, isn't it? But yeah, let me know, did you have any other opinions that are a bit spicy? Did you agree or disagree with some of what I said or some of the opinions themselves? Let me know. I like reading this shit. It's interesting. And if you did obviously enjoy this video and you're looking at me and thinking, he looks broke as fuck, I really wish I could do something about that. You can. You can check out the merchandise. You can get yourself a t-shirt or a paw cushion. You know, I put a lot of time and effort into, you know, advertising my paws as the exact sort of thing you want to smush a face into. And look, I found a way to let you do it without me taking an international flight. Go for it. And of course, if you just want to give me flat out money and help support and keep me off the street whilst my company dies, then you can do that too with Patreon, and you can different rewards and exclusive videos and talk to me, which might be a punishment for some of you, so I'm sorry. But yeah, just it would be lovely if you could take a look, wouldn't it? It would be so lovely, especially for me. Give me money, thank you. Well, thank you for watching. Hopefully you did enjoy this video, and I guess I will see you next week. Bye!